As we reach the end of this half term and head towards the final half of this academic year, it's important that we look back and take stock on the journey that we've had in the 2020 to 2021 academic year. It's been a challenging year, but it's a year where, as an academy, we have continued to make good progress. The challenges of COVID and home education saw us provide some of the best online learning of any of the schools in this area, and possibly, I'd argue, nationally. The nurture and care that was given to families, and the students within the academy was second to none. In order for the school to work and to work effectively, it's important that we have a concrete and solid relationship between the school, parents and carers, and our students. At times, we need to review and look forward by ensuring that we look at the mistakes and look at how we've worked in the past and develop our practice. And I thank you and you continue to support us by supporting us through a number of policies which we have published out, which you're aware of, on behaviour, on uniform, and on our expectations and the standards that we have here at Colchester Academy. The idea of this presentation is just to do a little recap for the students, and they were shown this presentation on Thursday and Friday in assemblies as almost a restart or a reboot prior to coming back after the half term. We have a number of policies as mentioned, and I'll run through some of the small areas that we need to focus on in the next half term to ensure that we continue as a community to grow, to develop, and that we ensure we are set and ready when we come back in September to have a solid and successful year through 2021 to 2022 academically. One of our big policies is the uniform one. Uniform in school has a number of purposes. Firstly, it leads to conformity. It ensures that there are less inhibitions. It ensures that students represent and look like they are part of the academy and part of our community, one which we are proud of and one which reflects them. The policy for uniform at Colchester Academy is on the school website, and it is very clear what the expectations are. Every student needs to attend the academy in a blazer, the academy tie, grey or black trousers, knee-length skirts, plain tights, dark socks, and leather shoes, not trainers. Along with this, we have a policy which outlines jewellery, which should be one small pair of ear studs, makeup that is not excessive, no acrylic or painted nails. Students are able to wear a school jumper, and if at any time for medical reasons a student is not able to wear a specific part of the uniform, it is important that we have a letter from home informing of this. In order to enforce the policy this next half term, heads of year and student support managers will meet students as they arrive at the school gates. Tutors, again, before we come in at the start of the day, will check our uniforms. It is important for the next half term that no hoodies or logoed sweatshirts are brought into the academy. If they are, students will be asked to remove them at the gate and place them in their bags until the end of the academic day. Any student who has incorrect uniform or refuses to adjust their uniform will lead to them being removed from circulation and home contacted in order to ensure that uniform is correct. We as an academy and as a pastoral team will support students when needed to ensure that uniform is correct, and we appreciate the support that we have from you as parents in doing that. Mobile phones have always been a contention in schools. They lead to being a barrier to learning. They impact in some lessons, and they also impact socially when we have small arguments or petty conversations that are going on that can impact on the school day. In order to reduce those barriers, we as an academy have decided that the mobile phones should not be seen on the school site. We appreciate that some students will attend school and will need their phone to travel to and from. On arriving at the school gates, students would either switch off or silence their phone and place it in their bag so it does not disturb their school day. If a student is found using a mobile phone in the classroom during a lesson, they will have that phone confiscated and it will be returned to them at the end of period 5. If they hand over their phone, they will not receive it. However, should a student refuse to hand over the phone and respect the school policy, they will unfortunately receive a 45-minute detention and be removed from the lesson by the on-call teacher. The student will remain in the on-call room until they hand over that mobile phone. Around and about the school campus, so during break and lunchtime, we should also not see students on their phones. And any student who is found using a mobile phone outside the classroom will be asked to hand their phone over to a member of staff. This includes the use of headphones and AirPods. Students who hand over their phones will then, as before, receive that phone back at the end of period 5. They will not receive a detention. However, should a student refuse to do that, then unfortunately that will lead to a detention or a removal from circulation. The impact of fizzy drinks, sugary drinks, and energy drinks on students has been recorded and has been studied across many a school. We as an academy are looking at reducing the impact of these drinks and the number of students who arrive drinking these drinks at the start of the school day. Energy and fizzy drinks are not to be brought into the academy. If seen, the students will be asked to hand them over. And if a student refuses, unfortunately, that will lead to a detention. We currently also have an issue around the school campus with litter at the end of breaks and lunchtimes. If a student is seen littering during the school day, they will be asked to pick up their litter. If they pick it up and put it in the bin, problem is resolved, there is no issue. However, if the student refuses to pick up their own litter, they again, unfortunately, will receive a 45-minute detention. It's important that as a community, we look after our site and we look after the way that our community looks. When the community looks good and the school looks good, then students will treat the academy better. During the pandemic, we were forced to use lineups at the start of every lesson. And it's actually worked out as a policy, which has done us a good turn. Students at the moment line up at the start of every lesson to be escorted in by their member of staff. What this does is it allows for a controlled and orderly start to the lesson. It's important that students get to their lineup as quickly as possible, that when they arrive, they do not talk, they stand in their lines, and this will allow us to enter the rooms and enter the building as quickly as possible. All of these issues here and all of these standards and all of these expectations are about consistency. They're the small bits that make the big picture better. And we as an academy need to look after these small areas in order to facilitate our movement into an excellent educational establishment. As we said at the beginning, this is a journey and it's a continued journey. We will review, we will come back and we will look at the best policies. But it's important that students and parents of the academy are aware of our expectations and aware of our policies. The students have seen this presentation either on Thursday or Friday of this week in assembly. They will again see it on their return to school. Our expectations are clear throughout this presentation and have been throughout the assemblies. So every student should be aware of our expectations and be aware of what it needs to be part of this community and to be proud to be part of this community. I once again thank you for your continued support. We look forward to the next half term and the build up towards the summer break. We appreciate it has been a hard and challenging time, but we continue to make progress. Thank you once again for your support.